Hi guys, thanks for joining us again on the channel. So, there's a reason I haven't talked about this one until now. It's not because I didn't want to talk about it, but because I needed to get it right. And now, the wait's over. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Let's begin by examining the insights provided by our first reviewer.
This reviewer was genuinely surprised by the performance of this mesh system. Their previous setup, a combination of a standard router and a range extender, struggled mightily in an old house with dense walls and tin ceilings. Wi-Fi performance was sluggish at best. On the patio, download speeds were often less than a single megabit per second, forcing them to use a phone as a hotspot. In the living room, a streaming device and a gaming console limped along with slow connections, making game updates a painfully long process. Setting up the new system was mostly straightforward. Our reviewer did need to purchase additional network switches since each unit only has 2 Ethernet ports, but this was a minor hurdle. The entire configuration is handled through a mobile app, which worked well after a small hiccup that required a second attempt. Adding the second unit was then a flawless process. However, this app-only approach was a point of frustration. This client noted the lack of a proper web interface for configuration from a PC, which felt limiting. They also missed having the high-level, user-controlled options found on their old gear, as the system automates most of the networking settings. Despite these interface quibbles, the results were transformative. The signal strength and speed throughout the house improved dramatically. The patio, once a dead zone, now gets around 50 MB/s. The living room saw speeds jump from just a couple of megabits to about 250 MB/s. Every single device connected without an issue and experienced a huge performance boost. The days of waiting forever for downloads are gone. For this client, it was a truly wonderful and essential upgrade to their home network.
Excellent. Let's find out what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer was initially blown away by the performance of this mesh system, noting that the latest Wi-Fi standards are incredibly fast when paired with a capable computer and high-speed internet service. However, our reviewer's enthusiasm dampened when it came to the setup process, which relies entirely on a mobile app. While adding the second mesh unit was surprisingly simple, the initial configuration was anything but clear. The app's instructions on the proper sequence for connecting to the phone and then the modem were confusing and took a few tries to get right. This client found the app's user interface to be a significant source of frustration. Basic options were buried, and locating the setting for a guest network proved to be a real challenge. Furthermore, the feature for creating a separate network for smart home devices was hidden behind a cryptic acronym, forcing the user to guess its meaning. The app seemed more focused on promoting add-on services than providing clear, accessible help or a well-designed layout. This lack of guidance was a recurring theme, as there was no online manual to explain the system's full capabilities, such as whether using a wired backhaul connection was beneficial. Another disappointment was the limited number of physical ports on the main router. With only 3 available, one is immediately taken by the internet modem. This left our reviewer struggling to connect a network switch and a storage system, with no ports to spare for other hardwired devices. This felt like a step back from previous routers they had owned. Ultimately, the biggest complaint was the abysmal documentation. While the system delivers on speed, the poorly designed app and lack of helpful instructions would likely leave a less tech-savvy person completely stuck or waiting on hold for support.
Wonderful. Now, let's explore the feedback from our next reviewer.
This reviewer has been using this mesh Wi-Fi system for a few months now, and the experience has been a bit of a mixed bag. Our reviewer is using 2 of these units as a bridge to a PC on LAN, and also appreciates their function as wireless access points. On the positive side, this client reports that the bandwidth is fantastic, especially for local network file transfers. When you avoid using the COS quality of service features, they seem to distribute internet bandwidth quite well too. Furthermore, the setup and general management is excellent. This reviewer believes that those who complain about the lack of network management options are really just nitpicking. You can still hide networks, filter access, assign IP addresses, and create port forwarding rules. The ability to manage the network directly from a phone is also a very convenient feature. However, there are some downsides. The biggest issue our reviewer found is how this system handles power loss or disconnects when used as routers. This client struggled for hours after moving one of the units, eventually having to factory reset the main unit and rebuild the entire network from scratch. The reset process is apparently very specific and time-consuming. The reviewer understands this problem only arises when used in router mode, so they may be a better option if used solely as access points. The reviewer states that frequent power outages would turn this system into a nightmare. Moreover, using CoS and prioritizing devices seems to restrict the total download bandwidth, so even the highest priority device only gets a slice of the total available. While this might not be an issue for most users with slower connections, this reviewer has a gigabit connection and observed it capping total bandwidth. Overall, our reviewer is keeping them and appreciates the features they offer. However, there's a strong plea to the manufacturer to address the power loss disconnect recovery issue.
And that's it. If this video helped, hit like and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching.